All right, good morning. We're starting Tatzam Chalaf. And then a Fias Matza. Tana she'oifim b'l Chametz. If you have an oven which you bake bread in, bake Chametz in usually, tzarech lizar k'shikasikuhu le'lafos b'matzah. You have to be careful. You want to kosher it to bake matzahs. She'yechol g'choli on pnei kuloi ve'ein dai lo belahava. You have to put coals in every corner of the oven to kosher it. Not just like, okay, there's flame and whatever, the coals have to be on the whole thing. The kavosha bolea, they kachole, kach polea, they kachole. Yeah, so the thing is that you can't, a blowtorch wouldn't work here. It's kavolo kach polto, so therefore you have to, use gecholim, because if this oven uses gecholim, so you have to use gecholim. When it has to be hot enough that there's sparks coming off the walls of the oven. Hilkach nimisiku kama pa'oim kodem Pesach. If you lit it a few times before Pesach, eno maspik. That doesn't help. Elim can't keep it until Pesach. You have to have kavanah to go ahead and matter it for Pesach. Yeshem lo halchol kacholion play kuloi kozon shalakivin lakach. Because maybe you won't, if you're not focused on Pesach, you're not going to be makbid that the gecholim get to every single corner of the oven. Yeshnogin lahatabel karka chadash, yeshitzrachel lahesek. Some people put new bricks in, or put in a new floor for the oven, so you don't need to do a hesek. Minig yofehu, and it's a minig yofe to go ahead and to use. To put a new floor to the oven, but you still need to do libun. You still need to do libun. You don't have to just you don't have to put the coals in every corner. You can do a bit more basic libun. You light it normally, and that takes care of the walls and the roof, and the floor is what's the biggest problem, because you're putting baking chametz on the floor, so then you need it's a minute yofet to go ahead and to put a new floor on. If you're being machshirid of coals, but by lighting it, you should do it twice. You should do it once, mastic it and whatever, and then do another, and then light it to bake matzahs. Don't just be like, okay, I'm burning it, and I'm going to bake matzahs right away. It should be two different meisim. Tafka, pirush echad min arafim shemechasim behem agag. You have like the shingles, pottery shingles or whatever. Shocheres chadasha lo shna hisika bifnim or chutz mutter. Whether in that case whether you burn it on the inside or the outside, it's okay. Mutter kimishahor shalit tachteha. You didn't really put the flame on top or the bottom since it gets very hot. Even if you don't have a flame jumping up, mirtach rasach, these shingles get very hot. Pas nefes miyad, and the cheres it bakes it right away. Ve'ena bali dechimutz. Then so if the oven gets very, very hot and it has cheres or whatever, so then that won't be by the chimut. So tzarich lahasik tchila, bein tana, bein kubia, bein beilfis, belamayim, bein bekarka. You always need to light it up before to kasher it.
Yeah, I'm not following. You have shingles in the oven?
It's for preheating. You can't. That has to be preheated.
What you're saying, it might be because of
It's serious. You have shingles inside of the oven?
You use as a no.
Open air.
No, it's not on top of the. No. I don't think you're just cooking on the roof. I think you're using these shingles to you make a makeshift oven inside of an oven. Yeah, so you build it up, whatever it is.
Then it doesn't need to be kosher because it never.
Oh no, you're right. It's talking about preheating, right? Well, tzarich lahasik tchila, you have to light the fire before. Bein toner, bein kubia, bein bilfis, bein. You can't put the matzah in and then light it. Lahadbiko tchila v'achach lahasik But if you stick the matzah on these things, you stick the matzah in, and then you light it, yesh oisim, because then you have a shehiyah. The tov lizar, it's better to be sure that the fire is lit. Yesh misharoy libchais shel yasu chararos beremetz. You shouldn't make rolls that you stick into the coals, because we're worried that it won't bake quickly, and then it might be machmitz because it's hot. It might be machmitz in the middle, and therefore don't stick it into like ashes or whatever to bake. Matza shenefis.
Back to the. So if you have shingle-like things inside of the oven, so it doesn't need to be kosher. Is that his point that it's
no? So here we're not talking about koshering. Here we're talking about the heat. How hot does the oven have to be? So we're saying that if you use this that's why it says chadash, you have to kosher it because cheres can't be koshered. So if you use this cheres, so then it's usually you need to have not a bucket in stone ovens and stuff or whatever, but yes, that usually has the flame is leaping on top of the floor of the oven. You have actual flames there. He says if it's cheres, you don't need that. It gets super hot even without having a flame right on the top, on the floor of the oven. It gets super hot anyway, and you don't need to go ahead and be sure there's a shalhebes, there's a flame.
Something's not calculating here, because he says that you have this tafka, this shingle, shecheres hadasha. If it's hadasha, it doesn't need any kasher.
Right, not talking about kasher in here.
Lo shna hisika ibifnim omibachut.
The fire is inside or out?
Underneath. The fire is underneath or on top.
Right? Underneath or on top of the
cheres.
Of the cheres. So we're not talking about an oven. I mean,
right. Okay. It might be. Let's say you're right. Let's say you just.
The fire is under it.
Let's say you're right. Let's say you do it outside or something like that. You have a fire on top or under. This gets hot enough to go ahead and bake a matzah on. That's the point.
So I'm following that point. If you fired it up hot, if we put anything in, even if you baked bread in there,
no.
Why not?
No, we're not talking about baking bread because that was the last. Because cheres you can't kosher.
Okay.
You can't kosher cheres. If you bake bread on it, throw it out. Okay. But here
we're saying now also, even if you bake matzah on it, but you put the matzah in before you
fire it up, then it's not hot enough for mechoshish. Okay. Matzah shenefis ad she'im porsi loisa ein chutin chachim. Let's say you bake it, but you didn't bake it enough, and it's baked enough that if you break a piece off, there aren't the strings of dough coming out. Yotzimba, that's enough to be yotze. Chovas matzah, because we say that this is enough to get rid of any chimutz, to burn out any chimutz, even if it's still soft and still whatever, then it's fine. The other simon the Mishavur bringing the Achron Liachronim is also if it's karu panel that you see that it gets a little brownish. Or sometimes dark brown, depends on the matzahs, or black. Hopefully not, but that you don't have to worry about the middle of the matzah. That because it's we say once you see the outside's baked is baked, and the middle will be baked also. Hagav yesh lizer shalachem in a tanur kodem lachem. You have to be sure you don't take it out to check it. Let's say I'm not sure. You take it out, break a piece off. Is this good? Don't take it out. Don't do that. Because let's say it's not 100%. Oh no, I put it back, and that second you take it out, we don't know. It might be machmitz. So don't start playing around. You see, you take it out. It's not baked enough. Throw it out. Yod say adam matzah shruya. Person can be for a zaken or a chole. He can be yotze with matzah shruya, right? And even if, let's say, a person's makbid on gebrachs, if he can't be yotze the mitzvah any other way, either matzah neder, I don't know, but it's mutter, and the person's chayiv to have matzah that way. Matzah shruya v'hu shloni mucha. That's only if it doesn't dissolve. But if you cook it, it loses all its time. The point over here is that if it's just soaked in water and so it's soft, so then that's okay. It still has tam matzah, but only water. Not if you soak it in any other flavored drink or wine, anything like that, or soup, whatever it is. Then you're not yotzi. It won't be yotzi with that. Only if it's in water. But if you let it soak too long that it breaks apart, or you cook it, so then that you're not yotzi with that. No, kavush is 24 hour. I mean, that'd be 24 hours. If you put a matzah in water, it turns to the matzah, but it will start breaking apart. If it has to be the Halacha said, only if it's really nevucha legamri, that if it's only like really like breaks apart into everything. But but if it's just very soft and like then it's spongy, it's okay. Im afu chametz im matzah. If you bake chametz together with matzah, but let's say one of the matzahs was machmitz, whatever it is, and you bake together, or you have a challah, whatever it is, in the oven lo nasra. It doesn't. If you bake it in the same oven, you bake a challah, matzah, whatever, or like I said, then it's not also elim kain naga b'chametz. There's no din reach. We say generally reicha milsa. There's no din reicha milsa by bread, by even by chametz with matzah. There's no din. We don't say there's no reicha. However, if it touches the chametz, when in the oven when it's hot, then v'naita makom shinaga eilatilas makom v'sharmuter. Right? There's a din by tarevis if you have two pieces of iser that if it's fatty, then the tam of the aser piece will spread throughout the other piece. However, by two pieces of bread, it's not fatty, so therefore we just say these klei tila, which is this much.
Fingers breadth.
Right, a finger's breadth. You have to take that off because you say al kolpanim the tam could have gone in physically that much into the next piece.
Now, we're also the oven though. The fact that there's that part of the oven where the chametz is.
Right. Let's say if you bake the matzah and bake matzahs and one for whatever reason you see was machmitz, the fuka, whatever the thing. I don't know fuka, but there's amish machmitz. I guess if it's still burning, it would be okay. I don't know, but you're supposed to do it before. But if you let it burn, it'll burn it out. But whatever. Matzah sheniskapla b'tanur. If you have a matzah which gets folded over in the oven, udvuka, ad she'ein sholet sham ha'esh, until you see that it doesn't, you make it into a tortilla, I don't know, whatever, you see that it doesn't, the fire doesn't get to it immediately, tocha Pesach. It's also to eat it during Pesach. We don't say it's mamish chametz, but you shouldn't eat it, on Pesach, because we're choshish that maybe by the case or by the fold, maybe that we say choshish that's chametz, and maybe they'll make the whole matzah chametz, so you throw it out. I saw that the Vosner says that sometimes you get matzahs which sometimes all the time when they're rolling them, they fold it over, roll it, fold it over, and sometimes you'll see a fold in the matzah. He says that's okay. It could be better to take it off, but that's not mamish. This case in matzah kfula that it gets folded over. You see a crease. Sometimes you even see when you have an actual piece of the matzah folded over, that's the take that off. Yeah, that's the problem, right? No, you have to take if it's not mamish a piece folded over, you take the whole matzah. Don't take the whole matzah out. If there's a spot which is folded over, the tam goes throughout the whole matzah. Even if it's a little piece, if it's really folded over, then
along the edges, it's often
it's you don't get matzah
really folded over, like
okay, I don't. Very thin still.
If it's like curved, fine. But if it's literally folded over, so as I said, if it's because of the rolling, then whatever, that's okay. But if you see it's because of the baking, then that would be an issue. I don't know. You have to check out the matzah, ask a shayla. I don't know. V'shar matzah shevatonim mutarim v'kodem Pesach ain't less, or if it's baked before Pesach, you don't have to ask for makom devuka. Right? If it's baked before Pesach, and you get a box of matzah, so just take that piece off, and you don't have to choshish for the whole for the mashu and the whole matzah. Matzah, the fucha. Right, just take off the piece. If you see it full, take off the piece. No, you don't need to throw the matzah unless it's on Pesach. Before Pesach, it's okay. You have to take off the kedei netila as well from around that fold. Matzah, so it's the fucha. If it blows up. Isa, right? It doesn't mean you have the whole thing it turns into like a pita, right? Asura, right? But if on that bubble it turns brown, muteris, then it is muter because it's clear that it's that part is baked. The Mishnah brings that our matzahs are very thin. You don't have to worry about bubbles and things or whatever, because these are just happens because of the fire, not because of Chametz. The Choshish that it rose a bit. That's the thing. So if soft matzah, whatever, it looks like a pita, right? The air pocket's from chimutz. That's the issue, from the gas from the fact that it ferments. That's what we're choshish for. But he said the very thin ones, you see the bubble, it's just because in the oven it got too hot or whatever. Only by thicker matzahs sometimes you have an issue. But very thin matzahs you don't have to worry about. Shnei matzahs shoichlo yizu al zu b'toner. Let's say it happens that two matzahs end up one on top of the other in the oven. Kodem afi yasan. Asurim, it's also the habik matzah kfula. That's like a matzah kfula because in in between it's not going to go ahead and bake properly. You have to be sure two matzahs don't touch each other when they're still doughy in the oven. Okay. May Paris below mayim ein machmitzin klal. If you have yain, shemen, dvash, cholov, we'll see what it is. That's not ein machmitzin klal. They're not machmitz. A muter le'echol b'pesach matzah shenilusha b'mei Paris. Afilu shar sakol yom. You want to go ahead and make some sort of apple juice matzah. Well, so apple juice is, let's see what the liquids we're talking about over here. We only make honey matzah. I don't know, whatever. Aval milk matzah. Yeah, making some sort of milk matzah. Aval ein yotzi ba.
Why are we not talking about egg matzah? It's not made Paris. I consider made Paris.
It's not made Paris.
No, the stomach definitely never be able to make milk matzah. Period.
Oh, because of
there's a possibility.
No, but we're talking about if it's not, you're not yotzi ein yotzi bal chavalaso. You're not going to be yotzi your chova, but let's say you make for a different day because of the surah. Then you make a different surah.
Milk vadai would probably not be acceptable under any circumstances.
Well, because of the bread.
I want to make milk bread.
Well, then if you make it a special surah. No. Well, that's only for matzah's mitzvah. It could be. Oh, even with regular matzah.
Even regular chava.
Yeah. Right. No. I'm saying, but let's say you made a special surah. But right, the din is by matzah. Not supposed to make a special surah. Fine.
I think apple juice.
Right. Let's see what we're talking about.
Making surah, was that a special shape?
A shape.
Even a shape.
Because the point is you're going to start focusing on the rather. This is what's called matzah ashira or krak siv lechem oni. And this is what's called, and then we have to have lechem only, but you would be allowed to have matzah ashira. However, most normal poskim say that, we don't you should not rely on what's called matzah ashira. Usually we don't know exactly how to do it properly, and even if there's some sort of hechsher, I don't know, whatever. It's maybe for old people, I don't know, whatever. We don't usually are not usually somech on that. Maybe
said that the way they make the egg matzahs, it's mutter for everybody on Pesach, but you still put on the sif of Shulchan Aruch on the side of the box because.
whatever. May Paris imayim if you make apple juice concentrate. So this is with concentrate, whatever, which most apple juice is like that, unless you make, freshly squeezed or whatever. Mimarim lahachmitz. Yoiser mishar isa. Then it's you made it even worse. Hilgaf ein lalosh behem. You should not use any sort of, concentrate or whatever. Losh behem yoifer miyad. If you did do it, it's a top on Pesach, just throw it in the oven quickly because you don't have a sheer meal. If you realize someone tells you, hey, well, you can't do that, whatever, just throw it in the oven. Otherwise, you're gonna have you have a problem. Hesed meruba. If there's no sheer, if there's no sivanim and mechulek, which brings the rabbah says you can be makel, but however, if you really just throw it in the oven right away, then then it would be okay to eat. Mutter lalosh b'yayin avabi she'i efshar below tipas mayim. You're allowed to use wine to knead. Even though there's no such thing as not having any water at all, and you have water that the moisture condensed on the outside of the grapes. So is that considered water mixing in with the wine? So we're not choshish for it. The avachachila regilu nitei mayim b'shas habatzir elahatir nitzoik avapikein ein lochosh lahem. You don't have to worry about the little bit of water going into the wine. There is about using wine and stuff. Finish with this. There is a whole discussion, at least by Sfardim, the cookies here in Eretz Yisrael called papuchado, which they claim they have a hechsher, they follow the ruling of Rav Yosef, I think it's a Yurtzeit around there anyway, that he said it's okay to make cookies, out of the wine, and there's a whole big diyun by the Svardish poskim about, did he really give a hechsher on it? He just reported based on the tshuva they matter it and they have some sort of Messiah. So Rov Sfardim they Torah don't eat it, but I don't know that they should ask their own Rav.